How is everybody doing? This is Dom Rici doing a special lighted up UFC Fight Edition tonight. And before we get started, let me just go straight to our sponsor, who is All Pro Moving, who's sponsoring this show, who's sponsoring the Boss and the Sauce, who's on Thursday nights. They're sponsoring the Lounge on Friday night, and they're sponsoring lighted up regular show on Monday night. So let's just hit the All Pro Moving group. Hey, it's Dom Rici here. And for someone who's been in the moving business for over 35 years, I know how stressful it can be. You call All Pro Moving Group, the interstate moving specialist. They're fully licensed and insured, and they can help you out with every facet of your moving. Their number is 817-893-2233, and they gave us a special code for the Who-Bangin Sports Talk customers, and that's All Pro Nick 1 for $500 off any move. That's right. That's pretty good, huh? Like that little music there we added. All right, let me bring in the reason why I'm doing this show is not because of my specialty, it's because of our friend Nick, Mr. FATFIST. That's his specialty, and we're going to talk about this big card, man. That's December 14th, Saturday night at the T-Mobile Arena, right, Nick?
Yep, you got it right.
How you doing, buddy? Welcome in.
Thank you. Sticking and moving, hooking and jabbing, as my pops would say.
Yes, that's it, man. And we're talking about the right thing when it comes to sticking and moving. Before we get started, just a quick little thing. The other night I ran out of some time, and I know a lot of people were asking me about our friend Titus Williams, who had his big fight on the undercard of the Charlo Hogan fight, which was some fight, by the way. If you get a chance to see that, it's on Showtime. It's a pretty good fight. But anyhow, he did run into some problems. He ran into a big brawler, and he got the TKO in the 5th round. So, we're always transparent here. We, got to tell you straight how it is. So I didn't want to just leave that out. I talked to him yesterday, and the kid is good, man. He shaken up for a day, and he's back to work already. You know, what makes us stronger, right, is controversy. Really, what happened with him was crazy. They want, he was like the newest guy on the card. So they were shifting him around on when they were going to start him. And the promoters like him, and they want to get him on. Maybe get him on if there was a quick fight, they would put him on the Showtime broadcast. So that was that was what they were trying to do. At first, he was supposed to fight early in the day at 5:30 p.m. The Showtime started at 9. They were going to put him on at 8:30, and they switched him to after the Showtime fights. There was 2 more before him. The kid walked out into the Barclay at 12:45 a.m. From 5:30 he was ready. He took his gloves on and off for 3 times. So
he got hot and cold,
Yeah, he got hot and cold. But I've seen him fight before, and when he came out on the ring, I could see he was flat because I've seen him come out on fire. I mean, he's 22 years old.
He's a baby still.
I mean, the kid's an animal. But anyhow, so that's what happened with our boy Titus. But he's back to work, and the guys that coach him have a couple other fighters that we'll be talking about. They're actually fighting this weekend at MSG. But a bunch of new guys coming up. So we're going to be hitting that also, which will be cool. But anyhow, that's why we're here is to talk about UFC. And we have a big card, man, Saturday night. Nick, tell us a little about it.
Well, we got 3 title fights. We got Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman, which is a huge rivalry. You got Kamaru Usman fighting out of Henry Hoof, and you got Colby Covington over at ATT, American Top Team. I like both guys. When I say both guys, I like the way they both fight. They're both dominant wrestlers. But where I think this is going to separate is in the striking. Colby does have a lot of volume when it comes to striking and stuff like that, but the power is just in Usman. I mean, what he did to Tyron Woodley was just amazing. I mean, I was on Woodley in that fight all day. I thought that was almost easy money, and he embarrassed Woodley. So right now, currently, he's at -170. You get that at Sports International. I know a lot of people on Colby. It's not a bad pick at +166. You get that at Bet DSI as well, but I don't see him winning the fight. I see Usman winning this one. I think he's stronger than Colby, and I know for a fact he's a better striker. Hits a lot harder. Then you got – Go ahead.
I see that he has a longer reach too. I see a 56-inch reach as opposed to a 72-inch reach. I mean, that got to mean a lot. I mean, they both have great records. They're both 15-1.
Yep.
Which
both,
is you know. But what did you say
dominant.
the odds were on the fight? What were the odds?
Right now, this is what's going to happen. I wanted to touch on this. It's minus 170 best case at right now, Sports International. But I know for a fact once those weigh-ins hit, you're going to see a bunch of money coming in on Colby. I think the lines are going to get down to like minus 140-ish. So I would touch after the weigh-ins. That's when I would if Usman goes down, which I do think he will. That's when I'm going to take him. Not at minus 170, but at minus 140. He's definitely live at that price.
Oh, I got you. I'm writing that down to wait for that. And the weigh-in is when? The day before?
Yeah, Friday should be Friday early weigh-ins, which is the real weigh-ins in the morning, and then they do like the the ceremony weigh-ins for ESPN and stuff like that. But I like to watch the weigh-ins to see how sucked out these guys are and dehydrated they are after their weight cut, because that's the biggest thing in my opinion when it comes to capping fights. If they're sucked out, their weight cut means everything in a fight, and if they're sucked out and their energy is not going to be there. And there's 3 5-round fights tonight. That night you got Kobe and Usman 5-round. Next fight, right. Volkanovski and Holloway 5 rounds, and you got Nunes and GDR 5 rounds as well. So they got to come right. And then you got Jose Aldo dropping down to 135 pounds when he can barely make
right.
Yeah, he can barely make 145. I will bet right now. I don't give anybody plus 200 odds that he doesn't make the weight cut. I will bet that. Bet it.
And the weight cut is what?
135. He was 15 pounds nine days out.
And I'm looking now at some just basic graphics of each fight that you're talking about, and they have him listed as 145 pounds.
Yep.
So they have him listed heavy, and would it reach 3 inches longer? An inch from the height advantage, 2 years more in age though. That could mean something. He is 28-5. Yep. And Marlon is 22-6-1. So that should be an interesting fight. And they were talking about that. What's the odds on that fight?
Right now, what, the Volkanovski fight, or you're talking about the?
No, the one we just talked about, the Aldo.
The thing is, you get it if he does make weight. If he does make weight, and he looks all right. You get him in almost plus 200 odds, plus 191. Okay. That's if he makes weight, I'm going to bet him, and depending on how he looks.
Right.
Marlon Moraes just had his head bounced off the cage by Henry Cejudo in his last fight, so it's dog or pass in that situation if the fight does go on. But more importantly, I wanted to touch on another fight real quick.
Go ahead, sure. We got time.
Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway.
Right.
I can't believe the line is where it's at right now, honestly. A lot of people were on Volkanovski at plus 158.
20-1.
Yep. But he just got done fighting Frankie Edgar, which is almost a mirror image of Volkanovski in size, stature, the whole nine. Yes, Frankie's older. He's a little bit more past his prime. Obviously, he is past his prime. But they're similar fighters, and Max only struggles with taller guys, like when he fought Dustin Poirier for the belt. When he went up to 155 to try to take 2 belts, you could just see the size mattered. But when he fights guys that are smaller than him, he dominates. You know what I mean? He keeps his range, and I see in the later rounds him getting Volkanovski out of there.
Yeah, he has some height advantage on him for sure. I mean, they got him listed at Holloway listed at 5'9", and Alex listed at 5'5". So he has a couple just 4 inches there. I mean, their reach they have listed as Volkanovski with the bigger reach, smaller fighter and the bigger reach. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they have it listed at 71.5 inches as opposed to 69 inches. So
I almost want to say Max always 5'10". Sometimes those Wikipedia those stats. Sometimes because that might have been taken younger in his career when he was still growing. Because he's still he was a young guy when he came into the UFC and whatnot. Really young. I mean, he lost to Dustin Poirier. When he fought Dustin Poirier the second time, when I was just talking about that title fight, 155, he had fought him earlier in his career 4 years ago. So and lost. So that was actually their second fight. But
you have a pick on that fight. So what's your plan to do with that fight?
Max Holloway. I'm gonna parlay Holloway and Amanda Nunes, and I'm gonna get plus 116 odds. That's right now. If it goes down, it might get a little bit. I think there's gonna be a lot of Volkanovski bettors jumping on those odds. I mean, I understand why. He's a dangerous dude. This is this is the MMA game. There's 4-ounce gloves, but I honestly think that not honestly think, I really honestly believe that he's going to get it done. And this is a little bit of a step up too much for Volkanovski.
Man, I see our friend Joe Risi. It says Marlon Moraes over Jose Aldo all day.
Yes, if that fight gets Joe, if that fight does get to the ring, which I don't think it's going to, I don't see the value on him at minus 200 or whatever. It's around 2 and change. It's actually 250-ish, I think. I just don't see that value. But I understand, and if you want to put him in a parlay and something like that. But Aldo at 135 could be dominant if he can actually keep, stay at that weight class and kind of keep it. So supposedly he's eating 3 pounds of salad a day to make this weight.
Wow.
Okay. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah. To get into that mess.
Oh yeah. And then you got here the California kid coming back. Well, I'm going to touch on one of my favorite fights, which is actually Amanda Nunes and Duran Duran in a little bit.
That's the fight that everybody's talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hear people that know a little bit about it, like myself, that I know about this fight, and I've been hearing people talking about it, and I've been hearing people going both ways with it too. This girl Amanda Nunes is no joke though, huh? 18-4, 5'7", 135 pounds. I didn't think she was 31 years old. I thought she was a little younger, but she's, and who she's fighting, she's 9-3 and older, 35. So there's 4 years difference.
They fought before too, and Nunes already beat her in MMA. I think it was in the UFC. And but what's going on here is you got a classic champion Muay Thai striker and Duran Duranami, and then you got a Amanda Nunes who is an MMA striker. Two different genres right there. Then you got Amanda's wrestling and jiu-jitsu, her clinch and all that stuff. I believe that she's going to end up taking her down somehow. Not somehow. Put her on a fence, clinching her, taking her down, and ground and pounding her out. Maybe slapping a submission, but she could still stand with Duran Duranami. A couple of days ago, I'm pissed off. I could have got Amanda Nunes at like minus 230. I saw her at. I'm like, wow, maybe she's going to keep dropping. But then money, right when that hit, a bunch of money came right back in on Nunes. So, I mean, at plus 300 almost, people are taking shot on what they think is a better striker, but in reality, she's not the better striker.
Okay.
Duran Duranami went 3 rounds with Holly Holmes, or actually almost 5 rounds. I think it was a 5-round fight with Holly Holmes. You know what Nunes did to Holly Holmes? She knocked her out in 2, or in the first. But,
but they have her listed now. I went on my local.
What's
and they have her listed as minus 280.
It's not bad.
I mean, you have to but we have to obviously got to parlay these big numbers. I mean, that seems to be the key in this UFC betting. I mean, there's always these big lines. It's amazing. I guess unless you're just taking shots with the underdogs, but
you got to pick your right spots on the dogs. You have to pick your right spots on the dogs. What I did last week with every UFC bet I made, I parlayed with Nunes. I have a lot riding on Nunes.
Oh yeah, I heard you say that. You say that.
And it paid off the way I did it. It paid off perfectly because I took a couple of dog shots, but what I did is I also parlayed it with Nunes for a little bit more than so I would have won them. So if Nunes wins, no matter what, it's going to clean up my entire. It's going to clean up my entire book, and I'm gonna put a little bit on GDR just to hedge a little bit. Worst case scenario, I get my money back or win a good amount. So I've done that a couple times with John Jones and Nunes.
Anybody in the chat have any looks on any of these fights? Just chat.
Noli, what up?
Let me know. Yeah, I see. Noli knows the Phantom has arrived. He's
Ramirez.
He's in and out. He's always bobbing and moving. How you doing, Noli? I always miss my friend Noli, that's for sure. Alex Ramirez always, this guy, man, he's always supporting us. He's always there, man, and I appreciate it so much. Can't wait to get him in one of our next trips. That's for sure. And of course, Big Ragu, the Uncle Big Ragu in there, right, Nick?
Doc.
Always there, man.
He's the man.
So let's talk. What about this? And I didn't even realize this jerk was fighting. McGregor is fighting, huh?
Who?
35. Conor McGregor.
Yeah, 18th.
Huh?
Cowboy.
Yeah,
He's fighting
that.
Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
It's a layup fight for Conor. They need him to win for the organization.
They need to get his name back in there, right?
And Cowboy is the only name that is like, some people still think that he's, I mean, I love Cowboy. Yeah, like that kind of thing, but a big name following. So they did it right. They picked the right guy. He's stiff as a board. Conor should beat him handedly. And that's that. But his next fight after that's going to be a tough one. I can tell you that much. I mean, who are you going to face? Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier. I want to see Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor too. I mean, he beat Dustin Poirier back in the day, but that's when Dustin wasn't Dustin. Dustin now, I believe, beats Conor McGregor now. So
that should be interesting. I mean, so that card, what's on that card besides that fight? I don't see anything else listed right away.
Yeah, they haven't put that card total together yet. Yeah, they haven't put that card. It was a short notice card.
They do the same thing in boxing. Like I was saying, there's a boxing match at Madison Square Garden, and my friend has he's the strength and conditioning coach. That's what he does, and he has a couple of other young fighters, and they just called him yesterday to add one of his fighters on the card for Saturday night. So it's the same thing with UFC, same thing with MMA. They all probably work it the same way. They need to have a couple guys on the cuff in case there's a couple fights or
Exactly.
Right? Yes.
Joe just mentioned Mike Perry. I like that play, especially at plus 200. They're totally disrespecting Mike Perry, 100%. Joe, on 1,000% at plus 200. I'm jumping on that all day. Jeff Neal, he's a great fighter. You know what I mean? He just got done beating Nico Price the same way Mike Perry would have beaten Nico Price, in my opinion. But Joe, I like that Mike Perry plus 200. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on that one myself. I was about to bring that up. There's no taking Mike Perry out of a fight. You got to shoot him to take him out of a fight. Maybe yeah, he's just that dude. And I do not believe that Jeff Neal is that dude. I believe if it comes down to it, he gets hit with the same type of shots that he'll be given to Mike Perry, and Mike Perry will be trained back with. I believe Jeff Neal is going to drop.
That's interesting. What about this? So I've also noticed, besides this card this Saturday night, there's also a pretty big card next Saturday, isn't there? It's in Singapore or somewhere over that part.
Yeah,
it's somewhere in Asia or something.
Yeah, you actually got Frankie Edgar, who I was just talking about, the guy that looks like Volkanovski. He's fighting what's that Asian dude's name? I'm trying to remember right now. I've been paying so much attention to this card because it's a great card.
Right.
So much tape to watch. Korean Zombie. He's fighting the Korean Zombie, who is a bad mother effer, and I'm on the Korean Zombie in that fight.
Oh, cool. So maybe
what's the odds?
Maybe I don't have anything listed on mine, but I don't know if anybody else does on the chat. Maybe what we'll do is we'll try to touch on that fight next week. We'll see if we can, maybe next Wednesday night, same time, we could do something with that fight and see if we could pick out any any spots or any winners. So let's go over. Let's go over what you think are your best couple plays, let's see. Which way you're going. So you're using Nunes in a lot of different parlays, like even like a cross parlay. Like, would you do like the Rams and her?
I did that. I did that with not just every UFC bet. I did it with every bet I made in the last week.
Oh, okay. So we really have to. So I'm
going to hedge it no matter what. No matter what, I'm in a good scenario because I either get my money back because I can hedge it properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then win X amount of. So that's what I'm smart. Yeah. I'm not going to. You know what I mean?
Right.
She has a puncher's chance, but that's about it in my opinion.
Listen, it's always a fight, right? It's like a horse race. No matter what. Even when the fix is in, they still got to do it.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the damn mouth. So
that's right.
You know what I mean? So the other Ian Heinisch, guys, against Omer Akhmedov, you get a minus 137 right now. It dropped a little bit. Ian Heinisch should freaking steamroll Omari Akhmedov. So another play that I really do like. Odds-wise, Ben Saunders against Matt Brown at plus 300 at Sportsbet, I believe it is not a bad play as well because Matt Brown's washed up. They got two washed-up fighters fighting each other. I'm going to take the guy that's plus 300, and then I think it's a 50-50 fight. You know what I mean? I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on that. I also
what about Edgar plus 137?
Is that what he is next week?
Yeah, that's what our friend Joe says.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. I would have thought he would have been like plus 180. Joe, he's only at 137 right now. I know you listen. If you're from Jersey, you love Duke Rufus. You love all those guys.
Right.
Mark. I love Frankie Edgar is probably my top 4 favorite fighters. And to touch on Edgar, we got the California kid, Uriah Faber, fighting. Come on, guys. Plus 400 underdog against Peter Yan. Yes, Peter Yan should be a favorite, but a minus 200 to 250, not a plus. Not my boy to be a plus 400 underdog. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on that because he can pull a fight out of his ass any day.
That's interesting. So you mentioned what's the one fight you mentioned that you're gonna wait to see after the weigh-in?
Jose Aldo.
The
X145.
You're gonna wait to see. So right now he's like 10, 15 pounds overweight, and you're gonna see where
9 days out
ends up.
He was 15, and it's hard for him to cut to 145. So if it was 9 days out and he was still 15 over, I don't see it happening. I think if they do let that fight go, they're gonna do a catch weight bout at 140. Is what I think they're gonna do because he can't make that weight.
Wow.
These guys, they're worried about these people dying and stuff. They're gonna let Aldo cut to 135 when he's already had problems, like bad problems, had to cancel fights, cutting down to 145. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that I understand that. So right, so give us your so before we get out of here, give me your top 3 bets for Saturday night's fights at the T-Mobile Arena. What is that? UFC 245? Was that 246? 245.
245.
So Usman Covington, is that one of your best favorite bets?
I'm gonna bet Usman once that line comes down a little bit. It is one of my top favorite bets, but not in the top. I do like I like Nunez and Max Holloway parlay at plus odds. Okay. I like Ian Heinisch at minus. Where's he at? There he is. Minus 137. Then you got here. Where is she? Caitlin Vieira, and she is at right now, which I didn't really touch on, but she's fighting Aldana.
We got a few minutes. We don't got to rush. You go ahead.
Caitlin Vieira, minus 167, sports bet. She's all around the better fighter. The better boxers, Aldana. The better pure boxers, Aldana. But when it comes to stepping in the cage, I believe Caitlin Vieira is going to end up taking Aldana down and kind of getting the job finished one way or the other. That's minus 167 in sports bet. I do like some dogs on the card, but those are things I'm sprinkling on. You know what I mean? I'm going to post them on Twitter when it gets closer. I want to see the weigh-ins. Those weigh-ins are so damn important. I can't tell you enough. I really can't.
What time is usually those weigh-ins? It's like in the afternoon, in the daytime, afternoon?
They do a live one that I watch. It takes fucking like 3. Excuse my language. It takes like 3 hours. And you watch them come in live, so you can actually really see. So you get, I've seen guys fall off the scale and they don't show it in an actual. You know what I mean? So I like to watch that. It's going to be in between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. for sure. So check on YouTube.
Instead of doing a show on a Wednesday night, we should do a show on a Friday night. We do our lounge at 9. We can even do a show at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that, and lead us right into the lounge. If we need to know, if the weigh-in, of course, makes important. It makes a lot of sense. It's something I didn't think about.
You know what I mean? You get to see the guys sized up right next to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's. I get a better feel. For me, I get a really better feel for it. And I've seen
100%. That's what we should do.
You know what I mean? And I've been trying to do that.
Yeah.
After the weigh-ins, I think it's the perfect time to do some sort of broadcast.
We got the platform now. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely that's it. Any ideas you have, just let us know. That's a good idea. That's what we'll do. Then we'll lead right into the lounge. Which is always fun and and the big party.
Bada bing. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know if you noticed. Did you see the any of the videos I posted the other day of the Canelo? I was reading Noli of the Charlo Hogan fight last week. You see those videos I posted? Oh, I'll have to post them again. I got the Charlo first knockdown. Was in the fight went 7 rounds. It was like maybe the 4th or 5th round. He hit this guy Hogan. The guy did a backflip. Almost went out through the ropes. He hit him so hard. So I got that on my phone. So I got a good little video of that.
Yeah, send that to me.
Yeah.
Oh, Triple G and Canelo. Yeah.
Knockout. And I also have the knockout. So
we got Triple G and Canelo coming up again, right?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that because
Joe did. Noli, excuse me.
Yeah.
That fight. All right, Triple G won the first fight. We all know that, right?
Yes.
Right. We all know that.
When's that fight? When is that fight?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to bet the same guy I did the first time around.
See if we can take a quick look. That should be a good one. I'll tell you. I laid away from boxing for a couple of years, and then about maybe almost 2 years ago, when I knew my friend was hooked up with his nephew and stuff, and Titus was going pro and all that. I mean, I knew he was a kid from the neighborhood that was a Golden Glove champ, but that's all I really knew. And so I started getting back into the boxing, and now, of course, I'm very much into it, and I have a chance to go hang out at the Brooklyn Boxing Gym, which hosts all the big fighters. Yeah, Canelo's been through there. A lot of guys that go work out there. So it'd be fun. We get ourselves a little step into the box. But anyhow, my point being that I've been getting more into it, and because of you, mostly, I've been getting more into the UFC. You guys really like it. And, when I hear Joe and Nisi really loves it, and so I know me and Doc were talking about it today. It's definitely not going nowhere. It's definitely getting more and more popular. My son-in-law is 32 years old. All his friends are into it. I know you're in your mid-30s. All your guys, like your age group.
I love it.
And it's good. Like all the guys now are getting into it too. So obviously it's not going anywhere. So.
But I'll tell you, boxing is making a little bit. The heavyweight division has really, with Joshua, Wilder, Ruiz, and Fury in the mix right there. That whole little foursome they got going on.
They're trying to make a little name for itself. I think maybe each genre is working off of each other. Hey, Ski. Yeah, I was just mentioning you, my brother, today. I was telling DJ that I missed you, man. I was gonna text you in the morning, but good to see you, brother. Good to see you. What do you call it? But what I was saying is, I think like the UFC and the boxing are kind of feeding off each other now, so they're both kind of get more and more popular.
Tyson Fury, he's gonna fight MMA
the other night, right?
You know what I mean?
So the big difference with UFC and MMA is what? What's the big difference? What's the?
It's all hands with boxing, and then you got to mix in like 4 or 5 different elements with MMA, wrestling, grappling. You know what I mean? Kicks and everything, elbows and all that shit. So
and then UFC.
But Tyson Fury, as a heavyweight, I heard someone who's training him. I think Darren Till's been training him. I do believe that he could, actually fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? If he can get that takedown defense up to par, I believe his reach, he could be knocking sons of guns out. He's 6 foot, 11, right?
Something like that. I'm not really sure.
He's a giant.
I was looking at these fights for Saturday night at Madison Square Garden. There's a bunch of middleweight, super middleweight,
Crawford,
regular bantamweight, junior middleweight title bouts. Yeah, a couple good title bouts. WBO welterweight title bout. There's a couple. That guy Richard Comey is fighting against Lopez. That's a pretty good fight, actually.
They should have done that 2 weeks ago, though. Dom, you know what I mean?
And Charlo's brother is fighting. Charlo has a brother that fights, and he's fighting Jamel Charlo is the Charlo who I seen last week, brother.
Yeah.
And
really?
He's a junior middleweight, and he's fighting Tony Harrison. He's a minus 260 favorite over this guy Tony Harrison. I don't know much about him, but
okay.
They both fighters. Yeah, 2 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
2 brothers. Yeah, without a doubt.
I'm going to give you a prediction real quick. Dana White will take over the boxing industry within the next 5 years. I'm telling you that right now.
What, he started to boxing?
Oh, yeah. He's got Zuffa Sports, Zuffa Boxing. I'm telling you right now, they're going to have to either get him. I mean, he just knows how to promote fights, bottom line. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you need a guy like that to get the sport to where it needs to be. You know what I mean? It's sad where it is right now, but it's getting better. But 5 years ago, I mean, who watched boxing? No,
nobody. I didn't even. It was gone. In my life,
that's it.
Right. There was always those 1 or 2 main big ones, and and that was it. So, like I said, I thought the UFC was really has a lot to do with the resurgence of the both thing, So that's without a doubt. All right, so we got some good things going. We have some good fights to look at. We got some good picks to come up. At least we have a little basis on what we're going to do, and then we make sure that we put out all your plays, and we will retweet everything and make sure we get those plays out Friday after that weigh-in. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tighten everything. Yeah, I'm gonna tighten everything up after that weigh-in. You know what I mean? If I see something I don't like in that weigh-in and a fighter that I was planning on betting, I'll let you know. I'm gonna make that public. Because those, like I said, those weigh-ins are everything. Some people, if somebody comes in overweight, you know what I mean, and I was betting that fighter, and it was kind of a toss-up.
Right.
I've learned my lesson right now. People that come in overweight, 4 or 5 pounds, and they end up still fighting, the win ratio is like 70% or higher. So some people purposely come in overweight when they know they're not going to make the weight, but they'll come in like just 4 pounds over so that they're allowed to fight. Because once it gets over that 5 pound limit, they'll just call the fight off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it happened last week, and the fight ended in a draw. Girl got taken down in the 3rd round and ended up getting a 10-8 round. And she was the bigger girl because she weighed in 5 pounds heavier. And it was just like shaking my head. Like commission should have took control of that and just not even had the fight happen. But it is what it is.
Well, I hear what you're saying. All right, well, before we get out here, let me just tell you that this show was brought to you by the All Pro Moving Group. Hey, it's Dom Rici here. And for someone who's been in the moving business for over 35 years, I know how stressful it can be. You call All Pro Moving Group, the interstate moving specialist. They're fully licensed and insured, and they can help you out with every facet of your moving. Their number is 817-893-2233, and they gave us a special code for the Who-Bangin Sports Talk customers, and that's All Pro Nick 1 for $500 off any move. That's right. What do you think about that little song there, DJ?
Whoever did that, DJ? Genius. Genius as usual.
Genius.
Right.
What do you think about that, Ski? Huh? Little commercial there, some music. What do you think about that one, man?
Not bad. And listen, I want to appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, man, for coming in, Robbie.
Listen,
I haven't seen him in a while. What's that there? Sorry, brother.
I love being a part of Who-Bangin. I really do.
Yeah, man, we love
it up the whole 9. I really, I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Keep on going up, man. So, we got something going here. We like what we're doing. We could just keep on. Like I said, we can only get better, right? So, and the most thing is we have fun and we're all friends, and that's the main thing.
Exactly. Exactly. I got a mural in the back coming. I got a big. You ever see Teddy covers his background? He's got that the numbers of like all the
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen Ted. Yeah. I'm getting a UFC cage right in the back of my what's it called with Woodley and I picked Woodley and Rory McDonald too. One of the best fights in history. I'm gonna have it on the wall. It's gonna be in my mural. So I'll have a nice new setup coming soon. So we'll see.
I'm working on the Who-Bangin Sports Talk studio in Long Island, New York. I've been working on it. I got my imagined Strawberry Field Central Park poster up there.
There you go.
On the old time. If I still love my music, there's my Bob Marley picture here. Saying shout out to Bob. All right,
there we go. Look at that, Dom.
There you go. You see that, man? Great minds think alike, brother. Great minds think alike. But it was great having you tonight, Nick. And thank you, everybody, for coming into the chat. We had fun tonight. And let's do it again, man. I like I said, we will do something next Friday night. After we know that weigh-in is for that 21st fight, and there's a special day, December 21st, for you guys out there. Happens to be our buddy Nick's 35th birthday, baby. So that's a special day, no matter what. That's for sure. All right, Nick. Love you, brother. Thank you, everybody.
You
see you guys soon, and see you at the window.
Boom.
Good night.
Later.
Hit the end of the broadcast.